Hello, my sewing friends. This is Friday Sews. I'm Jen, and this is my sewing room where I can drink Friday Sews coffee out of my coffee mug. And I can wear my shirt for Friday Sews, and I have a little magnet right over here. I'm so excited that we have all of this. So excited. And yeah, you can have some of that too if you like. You just go to my channel, and at the top there are a lot of little tabs, and you click on the one that says store and then click on the thing that you like. It'll take you there and you can get one for yourself. I have a lot of sewing stuff to tell you about, and so I'm going to get right to that. First of all, I did not work on this tote bag, not once. This is my pool bag, and I have it to work on. It's all pinned together, but I think I have a mental block because I don't want to do it wrong. Because I don't want to have to rip out stitching from netting and mesh and, you know, that kind of stuff. I don't want to do that. So I'm thinking about it. You know, I'm trying to get it made in my head before I work on it. In the meantime, I've been working on my Vogue dress, Vogue 9357. I am making the one on the model, but no buttons. And I'm making it from a linen that I have had in my stash for eons, it feels like. And it looks like this. It's beautiful. Beautiful, just blue stripe. And I love the way that the chevron thing is working. I have the bodice done, clearly. One thing I wanted to tell you about this, a big 4 pattern will usually fit me right out of the envelope as long as I make a couple of adjustments, like bust darts where they are and how far they come out, little things like that. But Vogue, about 30% of the time, I have a little trouble with. So that was the case with this. It's got to do with the way that the dress is made, because it has this whole midriff section which looks kind of like a waistband, and my waist is bigger than my bust line calls for in terms of pattern sizing. So I've had to work with it a little bit, and I want to make sure that I get it right. So the other thing is I'm lining it with this blue Oxford cloth, which is beautiful. It's 100% cotton. And I had just scraps of it. This is the perfect lining. Okay, because I have plans that I've talked about doing, of course, I got all distracted because I'm such a scatterbrain, and I know this about myself and I work with it. So I thought, I was finishing up this little skirt that I made for the collab that I did with Andra, Trish, Carol, and Adam. I will link my video up here, and I will link all of their videos from this past week in the description box. We all did something having to do with space. I have 2 back pockets. One is R2D2, the other is BB-8. I show you how I did that in the video. And I have to tell you the funniest thing. I told my daughter, my oldest daughter, I sent her a picture of the back of this, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, you got bots on your butt." Only McKenna. Okay, so I was thinking of things to wear with this little skirt, because I do love this little skirt. And I decided that I don't generally wear t-shirts. I wear my shirts on the outside of what I am wearing on the bottom. I either tie them up, like I've tied up this t-shirt, or I don't tuck things in. That's the point. Okay. I was trying to think, what can I wear over top of this skirt? How about a vest? I could wear a vest. So I pulled this out of my stash. It's from the 1990s. It's New Look 6638. And I'm making this one. And this is the back, even though this is really cool looking with the halter. Yeah, I don't think I can pull off a halter. And I went over, and again, looking through colors in my stash, I found this beautiful pink that is leftover fabric scraps, again, from 2 dresses that I made. This is chambray linen from Fabric Mart. And then I found a hotel sheet that I have down here that is specifically for muslins and lining. And it's 100% cotton, feels like a dream. And I cut that for the lining, and so that's on the table. Squirrel. Okay, so that's on the table. I did a closet purge recently, and I pulled out, one of the things I pulled out was my blue Hawaiian dress, which is this fabric. So this is Simplicity 9223, and it's a beautiful dress, or it was a beautiful dress, and I just didn't like it on me. I didn't feel comfortable in it, and so I didn't wear it very much. So I decided, what about if I cut it off and made it a skirt? So I did. I cut it off. And here's the beauty of this. It has a zipper up the back. And so I unzipped the zipper. Where is it? There it is. I unzipped it, and then I cut it off where I needed for it to be cut. And then I went back in and I just basically bar tacked the top of the zipper before I got in there and, you know, zipped it up and pulled the tab right off. I didn't want to do that. So I put those stoppers at the top, and now I have a built-in zipper. I don't have to put a zipper in this now. And I went over and I found scraps that I have that I can make a waistband out of. So I have a skirt already hemmed, has pleats in the front on one side. It's already got the zipper. So, you know, this is an easy peasy win. Let me move on to some comments that you guys gave me. I wanted to respond to these, and so I thought it was probably easier to do it now than not, because that way everybody gets to hear them. Maureen Taylor says, "Hi Jen." Hi Maureen. Looking at that pattern you purchased for the slip, last week I talked about some patterns that I had gotten at Joann's. One of them was Simplicity 90, what is this? 93, we're gonna talk about this in a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, 9730. And it is for a bunch of slips. You can see all down here. In one of them, there is like a little cropped sweater, and under it is a shirt. What looks like a shirt, it's actually one of these slips. So it's just elastic around the waist, and then it buttons up the front. So Maureen says, a light bulb flashed in her head, and she thought, thrift store. The one that looks like a shirt could be done with a real shirt. Easy peasy and no buttons to sew on. How smart is that? That's just so smart. You could take a real shirt, cut it off, put some elastic around the top, and wear that underneath a cropped sweater, or really whatever you want, whatever kind of shorter, you know, thing that you're wearing that's not quite long enough. You could do that. I think that's genius. Thank you, Maureen. Okay. Lindy Lee says, Laura Ashley pockets that tie. Oh, can you show us how to do that? I'm going to make dresses for Dress-A-Girl, and these pockets would be fun. Well, yes, I can. I will. But first, I'll tell you what she's talking about. She's talking about these pockets right here. This is a Laura Ashley pattern from 1990. And it's a jumpsuit and a jumper. And I've made the jumpsuit 3 times. So the pocket piece looks like this, which doesn't make any sense. And it is confusing even to read the directions as to how to do it. So I will put that aside, show you how I do it, and I'll get to that later. Dorothy Zurich said, well, okay, before I tell you about her, I have to tell you, I did not work on my pool bag this past week because I was too busy, you know, noticing squirrels. I don't know, I have to think this through, and I haven't thought it all the way through yet, and I just don't want to do it wrong, because then I'll have to sit and tear things out, and as much as I do not mind seam ripping, I don't want to do it with this. So one of the things that I've talked about with that is using Dollar Tree placemats, which are basically, you know, hard plastic, for the base and possibly the sides. I don't know yet if I'm going to do that, but she says, I use cross-stitch plastic for stability in the bottom of my handmade grocery bags. Just cut to fit the bottom, easy to wash when needed. How smart is that? It already has holes in it, so it's stable without being heavy. And if you wash it or get it wet, which my pool bag is going to get wet, then, you know, it'll dry really quickly because it's mesh, basically. I just think that's genius. Genius. Thank you, Dorothy. I learned so much from you guys. Okay, Lorraine Muir says, YouTubing the Friday Sews videos has made sewing fun again. The sewing community is larger than I imagined and full of so many personalities. Thank you. I'm telling you what, I love it. I have met so many people. I have gotten to know so many of you. You come back again and talk to me in comments, and it is incredible. So thank you. Thank you, Lorraine. Claire Wilkinson. Let's go back to this slip pattern. I went to Joann's for the pattern sale and could not find any on my list. I hate it when that happens. I did not know they put different numbers on new ones. My favorite part of the sewing process is seeing it come together one step at a time. That was the question for last week. Thanks for another uplifting video. Well, thank you for your comment, Claire. And what I want to tell you is the new patterns often, and even some that aren't new, they'll put on top of the cabinets and they have a longer display number on them. I don't know where they get this number. I don't know. But I couldn't find the ones I wanted, which were brand new, or in the drawer, because the drawer numbers didn't go up that high. So I happened to think, because they're brand new, they're like at the very beginning of the catalog, you know, and they're like, they just came out with it. Because the ones I wanted were like that, I looked on top of the cabinet, and sure enough, they did have these display numbers on. Yeah, that's not always the case. It could be just that they don't have any more of the pattern, or, you know, I don't know, they didn't carry it to begin with, who knows. But if you don't find it in the drawer, if it's brand new, I would check on top of the cabinet, because I couldn't believe it. I found all three of the ones that I wanted. So yeah, that's why that is. I don't know why they put a different number on them just to put them on the top, other than this goes on the top, don't mess it up and put it in the drawer. Maybe that's why, maybe that's the purpose of, I don't know what it is. S. Pavi says, Jen, do you make muslins first? Sometimes, yes. Not all the time, sometimes. I don't know how else to answer that question except to say that. Sometimes, not always, not often. Maureen Taylor says, please help my brain to execute my idea. Now, I'm telling you guys this because I know you're going to have a way better answer for her than I do. She says, I would like to make a simple, loose-fitting, reversible pullover top made out of sheer fabric. Maybe each piece a different print. Add to this challenge, I would like to have a type of flutter sleeve, fluffy upper arm camo. Can't speak. I know I would still have to wear a cami under it. I have lots of sheer prints in my stash, and I thought it would be a fun summer/travel garment. Can you please help me out? Well, I think you all can help her out. So I thought I'd throw it out there and just see what you all have to say about that. Teresa Tumadotsky, I think I got that right. She asks, how do you store patterns? What categories do you use? Do you ever purge the patterns? The simple answer is I made a video about how I do this. I will link it right up here. And yes, I do purge my patterns occasionally. I don't do it very often, but I do it. And when I do it, I pull out a lot. So yes. Let's move on to Simplicity 8640. I love this part. I've been giving one of these away every week for 4 weeks now. This will be the 4th week. And so this week's winner is Andrea Walker. And the winner of last week's pattern did not get in touch with me. And so I'm going to go ahead and give that pattern to someone else. And that person is Kathy Childers. And because it's the last week of doing this, I thought, what the heck, I'll just throw a bonus one out there. And so that's going to go to Jeannie Stark. So, or Jean Stark. So you three, please check the comment that is pinned at the top of all the comments for this video, and it will tell you how to get in touch with me. And then you can tell me what size pattern you want, and I will get it in the mail to you. Congratulations. God, I love doing this. Presents, giving presents. That's one of my favorite things in the whole world. This week's question is scissors or rotary cutter? Which one do you use the most? I use my scissors. I love this thing. I use it a lot, but I don't always use it because of the way I cut notches. And I'll get to that next week. But yeah, I use this pretty often, but I use this all the time. Yeah, and what brands do you use? This is Fiskars, but I think Olfa is what I've gotten used to. I've got like 3 more Olfas over there. I don't know how I collect these things. I don't know. They show up in my house and then they, you know, whatever. And I always used to use Ginger scissors. Wait, does that say Mundial? I think these are my Gingers. I don't know. But anyway, Gingers look like this. I don't know. I know my little Gingers are over there. But anyway, I've switched over to Kai because these are really sharp, really lightweight, and I like the length of them. And they just, oh, you can hear that sound. They don't sound like these. They don't click, click, clack together like that. It's just so smooth, so smooth. Okay, so that's the question. Let's talk about that in comments. And I think that'll do it for Friday Sews this week. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it. Okay, since we're at the end, I have to share something with you. One of the things that drives me absolutely bonkers when I watch YouTube is when someone I know, they're talking to themselves in the screen and they're not looking at me. So I was in a conversation with the Fab Five earlier this week, and I said, you know what, I think I'm just going to do it the way everybody else does this week. And so that's why I've been doing it the whole time. And you know what, it's hard. It's hard for me to do because I'm so used to looking over here. It's like it's a distraction for me to look at the screen. It drives me crazy. So yeah, that's why I've been looking somewhere else other than at you. So I will continue to focus my attention on you and not on me because, yeah, I don't need to be talking to myself. I need to be talking to you. So that's it for Friday Sews. If you would like to see a playlist of all of my Friday Sews, then check right over here. Yeah, I'm doing that on purpose, just the way I was looking at myself. It's right over here. And let me leave you with my favorite scripture from Lamentations, which is, the steadfast love of the Lord, it never ceases. Never, ever, ever. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Every time the sun comes up, every single time, those mercies are new. Clean slate. Great is your faithfulness, God. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.